Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another weekly edition of MidRank Madness. This is a game between DeMolition and WTFisBarto on Frozen Temple. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the red Zerg player. It is WTFisBarto. We're going to call him Barto because that's a lot of syllables otherwise. And in the top left side of the map, we have the blue Terran player. It is DeMolition, representing alts, or possibly ALTS, I don't know. Either way, thanks again to all my screeners for MidRank Madness who look through all of the many replays I get at this level to send me back the very best ones. This one was a unanimous decision by several of my screeners as the best one of the bunch. So I'm very excited to cast it, and let's get right on into it. So this is actually a platinum level game. I'm not entirely sure. It's either platinum or diamond, and I know you'll quibble about that in the comments, but hey, this is MidRank Madness, so what is the point? All right, so here we go. An opening hatchery first from Barto, not too surprising. And what looks like a Reaper expand. Oh, no, that gas is late, actually. Going to have to be Marines, unless it's unintentional, in which case he's going to wait for a Reaper for a very, very long time, as this barracks is going to finish very soon, and that Reaper is not, or the extractor, or rather refinery, is not even completed yet. SCV heading on down to see what it can spot. Going to go ahead and see that hatch first play, and the pool with no extractor yet from Barto. Interesting play here as well. Late gas for the Zerg, late gas for the Terran, and actually nothing coming out of here for Demolition. Demolition is going for, there's the expansion. So it's a 1 Rax expand, is getting a Marine out of his barracks. He obviously cannot afford a Reaper. I'm not sure what his plan was entirely, but that's a-okay. And look at this, a 3rd hatch coming up for Barto too. So I love this play from him. He's sending his overlords out scouting. It's a bit of a blind play, as he's not sure exactly what Demolition is up to. However, Barto feeling pretty darn confident to go for a hatch into a pool into a hatch. It's not a 3 hatch before pool. It's nothing too insane. He is able to get a couple of queens out here, assuming he has enough minerals to do so. He has supply blocked just a little bit. Tiny bit there for half a second. He's going to go ahead and get a second queen here. Just do it. There it is. There's your second queen. All right. So Barto is doing just fine for himself. And look at this. A 3rd command center for Demolition. Whoa. So he essentially goes 1 Rax into command center with a single refinery with 2 gas on it. So he wants to be very heavy on that worker count. He's going to go ahead and try to wall off here. But man, if you leave this one exposed here, what's the point of walling off your natural? I don't know. So the Overlord scouting around, is he going to be able to see? He didn't see the 3rd command center. Oh, that would have been such a nice big tell for him to see exactly what Demolition is up to. And unfortunately for him, didn't happen. Did not happen. And instead, the Overlord is forced to head on back over here. That 3rd hatch is just about to complete. There it is. Bloop. Pops up there, no big deal, and yeah, just pretty much droning up. I don't see any indication of gas being taken by Barto at all. Right now the income tab does show we're at 22 versus 27 harvesters. The Zerg player playing super duper well on that level. The Overlord scouting on in here. Are you... Both of these Overlords just barely missing this command center. If you could see that, he would feel so much better about himself about early attacks not coming his way. Sure, there's a factory just now completing for Demolition, but I don't see it necessarily being a concern for Barto anytime soon. Alright, so there's another queen popping out here, going for some early queen for the defense, which I like quite a bit, actually. Zerg players that just go for a bunch of queens to defend against things like Reapers and Hellions really do well in my regard. Starport coming up. A double Starport follow-up for Demolition, probably going for Liberators, although Banshees would not be a bit of a would not be out of the question either. Although queens do pretty well against both of those things. Queens do well against Banshees. Queens do well against Liberators, assuming they can get good angles on them. And yeah, drones just running around all over the place here. Barto's up to 58 supply. He is making another Overlord. He's not quite keeping up on the Overlord production here. He is losing out on some supply blockage time, as we can see his money start to increase there as he's waiting for that Overlord to pop. Making 3 though. 2 more, just to make sure that doesn't happen again, so that's exactly what you want to do. Again, the Overlord does not know about this base whatsoever. This guy, too, probably could stand to scout in about this point. Around 4 to 6 minutes, you want to send these Overlords in to see exactly what you're dealing with, because double tech lab here. Oh, reactor on this one. So this definitely looks like a Banshee, or it could just be a Raven opening. Barto's getting a Baneling Nest, getting a Lair, an Evolution Chamber, and a Metabolic Boost. So at this point, the Zerg player has been left alone for about 5 minutes. And a Legacy of the Void, that is a pretty darn long time, in my personal opinion. So We'll have to see how Demolition plans to come back on this. He is currently down 55 to 40 harvesters, 52 to 73 supply overall. Another command center. Demolition is absolutely macroing his face off right now. What are these starports going to do, though? He has 2 starports. What is the plan? What? I don't understand why you're making all of these if you're not planning on using them at all. All right, so now there's a Liberator coming out. Only 1 Liberator. He's actually a little bit gas-starved right now, as he does need to take. He has both these refineries. He probably should take these one as soon as possible if he's planning on keeping up this much production. Supply depots tossing up here, too. Is this command center spotted? No! No! Barto is playing in the absolute dark right now. Does he even know about this base? He does not. Lings! Get in there, scout. Try to see what you're doing. Again, keep those overlords coming. I do not see any more in production, and you're just about supply blocked again, Barto. Demolition is absolutely supply blocked. He's making 4 supply depots and a command center to try to remedy that, so he should be just fine. And what is this? Ah, Cloaking Field for the Banshees. So he is definitely going for Banshee here. So a Banshee Liberator play early on, although there's a Spire coming up for Barto, so a Corruptor Muta composition should be able to handle this just fine. APM for these players is pretty high for Barto, around, 70 or so for Demolition. Not playing too quick, but again, just really expanding super aggressively here. Apparently not worried at all about those Roach Ravager attacks that you see so often from Zerg players in this matchup. He does have some tanks on the high ground and some Marines, but man, if this had been a 2-base or even a 3-base attack from Barto, he'd be completely dead. Demolition would. Spine Crawlers coming up, playing defense, spreading this creep again with so many creep queens. He'd better be spreading the creep. It's looking a-okay at this point. 6 mutas on the way, centrifugal hooks on the way. Barto seems to be going for the mutas and for the banelings. If you were to ask me what his strategy is, oh my heck. Overlord, did you see that one? This Overlord is perfectly placed to see nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, Lings do pop on up here. They're going to force a liftoff on that command center. Indeed it is. A little bit of an overextend there. That's a lot of Lings, actually. Do they have any upgrades at all? Nope. +1/+1 is on the way. +1 attack just now finished. Now I have some Liberators here to cover it with 3 Defender mode circles, which seems like overkill, but probably isn't. Muta's going to fly on in now. All 3 of these girls are in Defender mode, which means they can't attack air units. Look out, Liberators! Okay, 1 dies, and the other 2 do finally get out there. There it is. They get out, but only 1 is left, and the mutas are going to chase it down and kill it. Snipe. Lings come in to finish off the job. That is going to be a planetary fortress, but there's the cancel, and there's the liftoff, and it's going to try to run. Barto wants a pause right now. This is a weird time to pause. And Demolition says, nope, not going to let that one happen. The mutas are trying to snipe down this orbital command. Nope, changing their attention to the Liberators, which are doing very well as they do that extra damage versus light here. Or they don't, actually. 7 damage times 2 attacks. This is before the patch wherein Liberators were given extra damage versus light. He's not repairing this command center either. He probably should send an SCV or 2 over to get that taken care of immediately. These Lings might be able to finish it off, actually, if they get there soon enough and time it properly. Oh, big swell coming up. So, all right, so this base is in a lot of trouble. A lot of Corruptors coming up for Barto now, and can the Lings snipe this thing off? There's no SCVs here at all. There's no defense. Oh, the liftoff, though. The immediate liftoff. And the Liberator with no hit points at all. 15 hit points remaining. Going to go ahead and set up that Defender mode circle. This is going to land, change itself into a planetary fortress, but it's burning down. Does Demolition not know that his buildings are going to burn down? Oh. Clutch Mule with the repair. There's the repair. Okay, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Infestation Pit on the way for Barto. 10 Banelings up for Barto. 141 to 108 total supply. Income is 71 to 68 harvesters. Barto has allowed his Terran opponent to really catch up to him in that worker count. He has a missile turret in each of these mineral lines. Very smart, as he knows there are mutas out and about. Has taken this base here. And actually, I forget, are there any gold bases on this map? I don't think there are. Nope, no gold bases whatsoever to be taking. So just expand wherever you can. Get that income and try to thrash your opponent. +2/+2 coming up for Barto. Again, playing a very Heart of the Swarm heavy style here. Lings, Banelings, mutas, Corruptors, Queens as well. Creep spread not as good as it could be, as I feel like the creep was here the last time I checked 3 or 4 minutes ago. And this is starting to move, so he is paying attention to it. He has another base down here, which he is mining from. He probably should be mining gas, although he's doing pretty well on both fronts. In production is a hive, more and more Banelings coming up. It's just a big mass. A big mass of Banelings and Lings and Corruptors. They should be able to kill this base depending on the positioning of the army, what little there is. For Demolition, army supply is 80 to 52, and a lot of these are Liberators. This base is getting fully established. It is now a planetary fortress, I think. This might be able to be moved over just a little bit, but maybe not. Corruptors flying right on in, doing a great job here, taking a lot of damage, though. Again, this is before the Liberator damage to non-light units was nerfed, as they're doing so well. The Lings trying to run in and get rid of this Planetary Fortress. That's enough Banelings, though. They're going to take out all the Marines, crush on in. The Planetary Fortress falls, and a bunch of Lings are going to get cleaned up too there. The Liberators cleaning out everything in the air, but they can't do much about these Banelings on the ground or these Lings just running on in, now assaulting the third base. Tanks on the high ground doing splash damage to their own SCVs more often than not, and the Banelings decide to back on out. So killing that base was probably worth it for Barto. It is 144 to 106 total supply there. Might as well come back and kill these refineries, but a little bit too afraid of the tanks on the high ground. Did not like the feel of that tank splash on their back, so the Lings and the Banelings backed on out. More Corruptors coming up. At this point, I mean, this probably isn't the case anymore currently, but if you're going to get Corruptors against Liberators, get that +1/+2 Carapace for your Flyers. That helps immensely in this particular situation. I've seen it ever since the early beta stages of Legacy of the Void. But once again, Liberator anti-air damage is supposed to have been nerfed by now, to where it does less damage versus normal targets in the air, but extra damage versus light units in the air, including those mutas. Lings, Banelings heading on up. Corruptors coming on in here too. They could use this here ability, Caustic Spray, that I'm not sure many Zerg players know about. It doesn't get used a whole lot. It's weird for Corruptors to have an offense ability against ground targets, even if they're just buildings. So I think a lot of Zerg players are just used to it, them being, oh, they're anti-air only. That's all I can use them for. Derp, derp. Lings running around, Banelings running around here too, just kind of prancing back and forth across the frozen tundra. A base, yeah, I mean, that's up and running. Where's your army, Demolition? You have Liberators, you have Marines. Where's the rest of that supply? So many Marines. I'm not sure about this Marine count, considering you saw there were Banelings on the field. Greater Spire and Ultralisk Cavern coming up for Barto. He is teching up as hard as he can. Lings with the +2/+2, as well as the Banelings. The Corruptors here have no upgrades whatsoever. I'd like to see that, but the Spire is busy morphing into a Greater Spire right now. All right, so this group, SCV, is coming along from the ground and repairing these flying units without really getting up there to do so. See how weird that is? It's really weird. It's a weird animation. I keep thinking this is an army coming down to attack this way, but no, it is definitely not. These players are absolutely hanging out. Other than that one attack on the Planetary Fortress, the Zerg player's been pretty timid, and Demolition, I don't think, has even crossed the halfway mark of this map yet. He is playing turtle style all the way, getting Hyperflight Rotors for his Banshees. Again, I don't know why you're getting Banshees, considering the mutas and the Corruptors you've seen on the field. No, I don't know that Barto has any Overseers. Oh, he does have 2. 1 and 2. Oh, he morphed his Overlords into Overseers and have been sitting up here the entire time. Yeah, I mean, they haven't scouted the main base whatsoever. He doesn't know about this base or this base. Scout! Please, scout. For the love of all that is holy, use these Overseers if you're a Zerg player to scout. Corruptors sitting on up. They might just try to crush all these Banelings before they morph on in, and they are. They're getting a lot of the Banelings, but the Corruptors swooping on in. A big ball of them. Taking that splash damage, though, that Liberators are famous for. And who's going to win this particular battle? It looks like the Liberators might be able to pull it off. No, the Corruptors take it on down. Big attack up here, forcing a liftoff on that command center. A lot of dead Marines there, but a lot of Banelings. I'm not sure if that was cost efficient or not. Ultras getting mixed in here. 2 upgrades on these guys, 7 armor, and +2 attack on those Kaiser Blades. Corruptors trying to sneak on in. Cloaked Banshees, and they do get that 1 command center. Base here for Barto, base here for Demolition. Again, Barto is entirely blind to these bases. He has an Overseer. He hasn't moved it in about 10.5 minutes, which is a bit of a problem. And here come the Cloak Banshees. They're going to try to take down this base all by their lonesome. Is there? Nope. The only Overseers on the map. Oh, there's one morphing in right here at the main base. I think he knows about the Cloak Banshees. Trying to fly in and just lay waste to bases here. Spore Crawler getting some shots off there too. Look how fast these things are. 5.25 move speed. Moving on in to go and try to take care of this hatchery. Where's that Overseer? I saw it morphing in earlier. I saw it morphing in. Here it is. Barto, get your Overseer over here. What are you doing? Oh, now he's moving it over. Okay, fair enough. So they are going to go ahead and save the hatchery, which is why with your Banshees, as a big old Ling attack up here is getting cleaned up by the Planetary Fortress. If you do have Banshees, just go after workers if you have some time. Because look at this. They wasted all that time just going after the hatchery. They have nothing to show for it because the hatchery is not dead. Not dead, as I can testify right now. Coming right on in here again. Banelings crushing into a Planetary Fortress. They do take it out and chasing after the SCVs with the remaining Banelings. Missile turret getting smashed on down too. A good pickup there by Barto. He could kill this base if he knew it was here, and he doesn't know that it's here because he's not scouting super well. All right, that's fine. Actually, Demolition is not scouting super well either. Doesn't know about these bases, though he does see the creep now. So he has to assume that this one is down here. Regardless, this base has not quite been reestablished by Demolition. The income tab is 61 to 64 harvesters. Demolition somehow has the lead that way. And Barto has killed 40 SCVs. 40. Meanwhile, has lost 0 drones. Looking pretty good for our Zerg player. Long distance mining or just being transferred are these drones. APM for these players is continuing to stick at about 80 or 90 for Demolition. Around 160, 170 for Barto. Not too many big of a change there. Burrowed Ling here, making sure base does not get replanted. But again, secret base here. These Overseers are going to win the most useless units of the game award. They are absolutely the worst scouters I've ever seen in my entire life. Liberators trying to come on in. Corruptors, they have upgrades yet? They do not, but there are a lot of them splitting fairly well so that that target splash damage doesn't affect them as much as it otherwise would. This base, happily mining, it is a planetary fortress. Hard to kill unless you have Ultras or Banelings, as we've seen thus far. Lings just don't do very well against it. Corruptors with Caustic Spray could take it down, though, very easily. Hey, Barto. Hey, Barto. Use Caustic Spray. Not going to happen. All right, so the Lings get us around here. They go right after some of these SCVs. Banelings crashing, and they do take down the planetary fortress. A lot of SCVs dead there with it. How many dead SCVs now? 61. 61 and dead SCVs. More refineries down here, too. And if Barto was scouting, I feel like he would have won this game already. If he knew about this base, he would kill it. And that would pretty much be all that she wrote for Demolition. He's mined out here. He's getting mined out there, and he's definitely mined out in his base. So just keep him contained. Keep him mined out. Use your Broodlords if you want to. He's getting +1 flyer attack, which is nice. But I don't see any... Nope, no Broodlords at all. He did get 4 Ultras. He does have some T3 representation and does finally show up at this base. These Lings are +3 Lings. Their DPS is absolutely insane. The SCVs desperately trying to repair, but I don't think this number of SCVs can there we go. Can't out repair that DPS, and the base is gone. Okay, Barto, you got this thing. I believe in you, man. Those SCVs getting chased down and mercilessly killed. 69 workers killed at 67 to 38 total supply. This base is now up and running for Demolition, and coming in again, though, is the Swarm, pushing right on in here, and the Lings getting a full surround. Banelings, once again, being used on the planetary fortress to great effect as another base dies. This is so many dead bases for Demolition. The tank fire, though, scary. The Mass Liberator here, very scary, too, for Barto, and he's going to back on out. All right, so as we discussed previously, there is nothing here for Demolition. His income is minuscule compared to a Zerg opponent. 300 minerals, barely any gas whatsoever, 29 harvesters total, and this is it. I mean, Barto should be able to come in here with his Corruptors, with his Lings, go ahead and max out on Corruptors maybe to deal with these Liberators, or just bring 100 million Lings in, as the Liberators can't quite kill them enough to stop them from wreaking havoc on your base. But regardless, a lot of static defense. What is Barto worried about? That should be a game we play. What is Barto worried about? Why does he have 100 spine crawlers at this base? Either way, he does have a burrowed Ling there, which I like to see. The orbital command trying to fly over and land is not going to happen. This too is a nice denial, and that's a nice denial. So good scouting, even though our super useless Overseers we'll call Tweedledee and Tweedledum, again, still doing literally nothing. Here comes our Sky Terran army from Demolition. Liberators. Banshee is going to snipe down this hatchery. Well, just mostly the Banshees, as Liberators can't attack buildings. And here we go. Lings marching right on into the main base. They're going to chase down these tanks, but there are tanks on the low ground too. Oh, they're so afraid of the tank fire. Undecided, indecisive. And the Lings finally do take down a single factory, which is fine. But, trying to fly in as a Banshee gets taken down by these Corruptors. More Corruptors than Liberators present. Ultras getting morphed on in here, too. Just going to go ahead and take out as many SCVs as they can. Liberator count crushing these Corruptors, though. Just absolutely destroying them. And now the Defender mode circles are up, trying to hold on. And here is Demolition. Big hits. Oh, the Ultras evaporate almost instantaneously. And that attack did very little. It killed a single factory. It killed some more SCVs. I think 84 SCVs have been killed so far. Coming in is now the Marine Army, pushing right on in here. I don't know that Lings are going to be your answer, Barto. And the Lings try to trickle in here. Bad rally. A lot of them just getting massacred in transit. Look at this massacre. And here they come, the Marines. Do they even have... No, they don't even have stim. They don't even have combat shield. They have +1 attack, and these Marines are absolutely going to kill. More Lings in production for Barto. Banelings going to crash on in and absolutely massacre that Marine ball. No stim, no chance for those guys. Pushing right on in still is our Sky Terran army, though. They're still alive. They're still feeling it. Trying to replant this base, not going to happen. Trying to replant this base, also not going to happen unless this Zergling is just outside the range, which is entirely possible. An attempted Ling counterattack, once again, getting right on in here. Taking out these barracks would be nice. I'd be pretty happy about that if you, I mean, just make a decision, Barto. All right, main base. Main base attacking is great, forcing all these units back once again. These are such good counterattacks. Taking tank fire from the low ground once again. That's A-OK. Getting rid of engineering bays, getting rid of armories. I like the decision to get rid of tech paths available to the Terran player. Supply depot definitely going to fall. And there it goes. More and more supply depots falling there too. Not going to supply block our Terran player at all. Heading out with the Sky Terran army once again. And these spine crawlers are useless. Utterly useless. Banshee is going to go ahead and snipe them down. They have the +3/+3 attack. Demolition trying to make this thing work. He has another big swell of Marines mixed on in here too. Don't walk them into the spines though. Seems like a poor... Alright, going to walk them into the spines just a little bit. Losing a couple Marines for his hubris. And Corruptor melting there. Lings and Banelings taking down a barracks. Kind of uselessly exploding there. More and more barracks being destroyed. But these Sky Terran army units are really what's keeping Demolition in this game right now. Sniping down an entire hatchery. Banshees trying to take down that Spore Crawler. Difficult to do. Now they're going for the hatch instead. I think that was a Corruptor that tried to pop out of there, but it got absolutely melted way too quick to be sure. Lings knocking down Refinery. Going to try to knock down this Orbital Command here as well. Lings getting Marines getting melted there. Because guess what? These Lings have +3/+3, and those Marines have +1 attack and nothing else. Upgrades matter, you guys. Always get upgrades. So Demolition... I mean, he has a lot of money, right? He has about 3,400 minerals in the bank. Sky Terran army is very scary. Corruptors actually forced to flee for their lives from before them, doing 10 damage ×2 with a range of 5, and that splash. Trying to take out this command center, not really worth it. Turning around to try to get rid of these Liberators, but the upgrade battle really winning on the Demolition side right now. 71 to 97 total supply. Army supply 66 to 39. Barto is trying to rack his brain. It was going for Ultras, Ultras and Hydras at the same time. Going for a Hydralisk Den, which seems like not a bad choice here, actually. Hydras, pretty darn good against both Banshees and against Liberators, assuming they don't walk into those defender mode circles. Not a lot of air-to-ground DPS against buildings, but these Banshees might be able to pull it off all together here. Queen trying to stab it away at these Liberators. Not going to happen. They're completely gone. And all these Overlords, too, exploding in unison as the splash damage kills them all. This might actually supply block our Zerg player. This is the home of all of the Overlords, and indeed, it does. It supply blocks him. A Ling attack over here does take down a single orbital command, but replacement orbital commands are being thrown down everywhere by Demolition, and still has a ton of money in the bank to boot. Ultras, not here. Don't be here. Go base race. You can't defend with Ultras. Not going to happen. The Hydralisk Den is completed. I don't know where it is. We can see here with structures, though. Here it is. And he's not making any... No, why are you making Banelings? Barto, we need to have a talk. Why are you making Banelings? That is my only question for you as the Greater Spire gets mowed on down by these Banshees. More and more Spore Crawlers coming up. Can't necessarily say that I argue with that decision. The Ultralisk Cavern also taking shots right to the face. It is wiggling and jiggling its way to explosion. And here we go. Lings, Ultras, Banelings. No care given whatsoever for the siege tanks. They do have +3 vehicle plating, but they don't hit very hard, so the Ultras take them out very easily. So they're just going to sit here and basically kill everything right now. Lifting off is Demolition. Could this turn into a stalemate? This might turn into a stalemate. Right now, Barto has 2 Corruptors. Okay, so he still has 2 Corruptors. It is definitely not over yet. Defender mode circles. Ultras run. Not that way. The other way, Ultras. Oh, 2 explode in fiery explosions. Let's see here. 100 damage per shot. Weapon speed 1.14. Man alive, those things hit hard. Banshee's just cleaning up everything in the main base. Lings, Ultras trying to run away run for their own lives. And can they actually scan? I don't see any scans available. This burrowed Ling is a hero for the swarm right now. DeMolition really desperately wants to land here, but can't, and can't even scan to clear out whatever is burrowed. Banshee is trying to do stuff. There are a couple Spore Crawlers here that should be enough to chase them away. The Hydralisk then gets sniped down without Barto making... Oh no, he did make a single Hydra. I take that back. He made a single Hydralisk, which is A-okay. Spore Crawler landing and getting some shots off here. But man, these fully upgraded Banshees hit hard, and they do take it out without losing a single Banshee in the process. Did this actually manage to land? It did. It managed to land. It's not in an optimal position, I don't think. I'm not sure if that Ling actually... Now that I look at it more closely, I'm not sure that Ling actually adequately covers the range here, but whatever. Starports flying around trying to find happy places to land. Ling's getting exploded before they can get on in. Ultra with 3 kills, just killing buildings. DeMolition setting up shop in this corner and making it his home. This is where he's going to live for the next little while, I believe. He has a lot of Liberators that seem to be doing very well against both ground and air targets. Ultra, run, run. No, you almost ran. The Ultralisk burning to death animation is one of the best ones in the game. It's just so big and fiery and like awesome. Drones here could probably go here. This is very unsaturated base, but this has a lot of static defense as well. So both players have basically turtled up. This base for DeMolition, this base for Barto. Both players do not have very much available supply. Barto is officially supply blocked, DeMolition not, but close enough for it to be a problem. Throwing up defensive lines using barracks. Tossing down his orbital command to use the mules. Oop, finally gets rid of that Ling. Throws its body clear across the edge there. And drones going somewhere to work. This is not a good place to be. This is super duper oversaturated. Yeah, go ahead and set it up over there. That should be just fine. And maybe, I'm trying to decide, take this base? This base seems like a good one you could take. Liberators, oh my goodness, are useless Overseer going to die finally? Yep, sat here the entire game, didn't ever scout a single darn near thing, and finally does get exploded here. Ling in the ground. Thankfully, for him, the Liberators cannot see it. This is so many Spore Crawlers, though. I don't think you can attack this. It's a pretty good ring of Spore Crawlers. I do say so myself. Do they have the upgrade on their... I don't know if they have it. The range up... Oh, looks like they do, actually. Well, it's hard for me to tell. But actually, look at that. Fantastic range on that attack. Able to basically lock down a lot of this base. A lot of the areas are having trouble. These 2 Corruptors come and try to deal with this. And running away. Good micro. Good micro on display here. Couple shots off, run away. Couple shots off, run away. Couple shots off, run away. No, don't take that, though. Oh, my gosh. One volley takes them almost out entirely. And finishing them off are the Liberators, not losing a single one of those. Lings try to come in and get rid of a PF, but all by themselves, not going to happen. Ling's going to knock this one down, though. Losing an orbital command is not something you can afford to do. Oh, DeMolition. Oh, DeMolition, you lost one there. All right, so income tab is 0 Harvesters left for DeMolition. He thankfully does have 2 bases here and a lot of money in the bank, so that's good. Marines getting pinned up, and they do live thanks to an assist from the planetary fortress there, and he's starting to mine up. Meanwhile, the Liberators locking down this base. Barto does not have many workers himself. 23 is not a big number considering this is essentially mined out and these drones are where they were working. Is there enough money to actually make another hatch here? There's not really. There's not, but this base is still sort of mining. Oh my gosh. So many dead drones. 32 workers killed by DeMolition. 110 workers killed by Barto. Another attempt at some Ling harassment here. The Marines, do they have any upgrades? No, not really, but the planetary fortress is a nice assist. Heading on down, trying to take this base, I think, yes, but the burrowed Ling once again saving the day for Barto, making sure that his Terran opponent cannot expand anywhere whatsoever. Making supply depots is DeMolition, trying to avoid being supply blocked. A Spire coming up. Barto really wants to replace his Spire. He wants more Corruptors. I just don't know if that's the correct choice here. He also should move this Creep Tumor out to spread the creep to keep these buildings alive. As you can see, the spawning pool is going to die because it's off creep. The same thing will happen to this Evolution Chamber, Baneling Nest, and Infestation Pit if this were to die. I assume everything's pretty much safe right now and touching the creep. Losing the spawning pool, kind of a problem though. Raven coming up for DeMolition. That's so Raven. Ling's knocking down a supply depot. It's going to be annoying to DeMolition, but not necessarily game ending, if you know what I mean. Ling's just scouting all over the place. Liberators flying around, trying to find a new source of things to kill. That hatchery, good scout there by DeMolition. seeing that hatchery is there. And let's see what Demolition does with the Spire. I just don't... He just sets up shop. Killing larva. Can one-shot those larvae. A couple lings getting taken on down there too. These extractors are safe as Liberators cannot attack buildings, as we've said before. And coming in, just landing, admitting defeat is Demolition, saying, I wanted to expand there, I couldn't do it. I wanted to expand here, I couldn't do it. But somehow, some way, Demolition has left this base alone. So, Barto does end up being able to mine here at least until the Liberators come back, which might not be for quite some time. So right now, put your money on who you think is going to win this game. Press 1 for Demolition, press 2 for Barto. They're pretty much even at this point. Again, the army supply, 50 to 17. These Liberators are a big-time scary factor for Demolition. But if he just has them sitting here, not sure how effective they can be. Lings running all over the place. Banelings trying to find stuff to kill here too, hanging out in the corner. If this lands here, can Barto see it? Yeah, the vision of extractors is actually pretty good. Actually not bad at all. Burrow. Burrow. Yes, there's the burrow. Nicely done, Barto. Keeping that thing alive. Flying on in here. Again, the Liberators are very interested in making sure this base does absolutely nothing, but the Defender mode circles are gone, so I don't know why they're here if they're not locking down these larvae. Maybe they're trying to lull Barto into a false sense of security. More Corruptors coming out for Barto. I don't think that's the answer, man. I really don't right now. Corruptors, not the greatest decision on Earth. More Banshees in production by Demolition. I don't know where Demolition's attention is. Actually, we can find out real quick. Let's see. 2 camera. He's looking at them. He's looking at these larvae. Bringing some Banshees over here, too. Finally taking out this base. Alright, we're going to go back to everyone then. Oh, he got this one up and running now. Demolition, very nice. Has another base up and running. And meanwhile, Barto's having a very hard time doing that himself. Banshees trying to snipe down this hatch. Doing a pretty darn good job of it, as the +3 attack gives them 15 damage times 2 with a weapon speed of 0.89. That actually hits pretty darn hard. And Defender mode circles clearing out Broodlings because that's an effective use of their abilities. Alright, Barto needs to make a move. He needs to do something. Oh, he did. He did. He's getting Hydralisks. Okay, okay. So Hydras I can get behind. Hydras here, especially if they have upgrades. I'm not actually sure how those are. +3 armor is good. +1 attack, not bad either. Alright, so if the Hydras can get into an angle to snipe off some of these Liberators that are very low on health without taking Defender mode shots to the face, I think Barto might be able to pull this thing off. 60 to 62 total supply right now. It is 55 to 42. Barto has really come back ever since Demolition left him alone at this base. But here comes the pain. Liberators, Banshees, almost fully unupgraded Marines here too. Single Hydra gets destroyed there. The army heading on up. Corruptor finding a lone Liberator to snipe on down. And here we go. I like this combination though. It's a difficult thing to break with this composition. The Spine Crawlers are going to deal a lot of damage to these Marines, but actually not as much as I thought, surprisingly. The back ones, though, starting to clear them out. This base under a lot of trouble, and it does end up exploding here. The Hydras take them out. So the Liberators heading back home, recognizing the threat that this army poses. Spine Crawlers taking as many as they can. Only one Spine Crawler left. This base is in a lot of trouble here. Drones force a retreat for their own lives. Lings throwing away their own lives on that planetary fortress, coming on in here to try to snipe down these barracks. A nice choice here by Barto, and he does get one. He does get two. The Marines laying waste to everything on the last base. Not the last base. That's the last base that Barto has. Hydras trying to kill from a distance. I think the Hydras are attacking here. Barto's waiting for the Liberators to come in here with Defender mode. No! Planetary Fortress! No! Bad! 30 kills on that Planetary Fortress. Get out. Get out, Barto. Trying to snipe from a distance here and cloaking. There is an Overseer mixed on in, but is there enough DPS to get rid of the Banshees and trying to fly in to get rid of these anti-air Liberators? Not going to happen. We've seen this before, Barto. We've seen this show. Oh, blah. Overseer's dead too. Single last Hydra gone because the Overseer's out, and that's it. That is it for Barto. Man alive. Planetary Fortress with 30 kills. MVP of the match, man. Long distance mining happening right now for Barto. This base not being super heavily mined either. It's 12 to 16 total harvesters. Where the heck are 12 harvesters for demolition? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does he have idle workers somewhere? 7, 8, 9, 13. That's weird. Units tab. CV, SCV, 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 SCV. They're all here. Just can't see them. Counting is hard. Another attempt of Ling attack up here because that's really all that Barto has at the moment. He has a spawning pool. And that's it. Just taking shots from Banshee is not a good look at all. Just continuing to scout. Doing a much better job scouting now than he was previously. And that's for sure. Now that he pretty much has nothing else to do, I guess. You could expand here. I mean, what did he just spend money on? What's that production tab show? Hydralisk Den. So replacing the Hydra Den when you're long distance mining, probably not the best decision. I would argue, if I was Barto's life coach, I would say expand and then go for the Hydralisk Den because your income is tiny right now. It is so darn small. Finally getting rid of these extractors is Demolition. He should have done this a long time ago, but hey, better late than never, and the Lings knock down these refineries too. So it is destroy Vespine Geyser extraction methods today at the 36-minute mark on Frozen Temple. Meanwhile, Demolition continues to increase his army size. Swarm Host? Swarm Host. Barto says, good game to whoever wins this thing. It's going to be Demolition. I'm just feeling like it's Demolition. Demolition says, I am going to win this. He has the confidence of 1,000 men. Or perhaps one man who is super confident. Yeah, Oh, I agree. Okay. Okay, showing some grace there under fire. All right, Swarm Host, what you got for me? I'm going to try to sneak up. I have a prediction. The Swarm Host is going to get across the map here. The Liberators will set up defender mode circles, or the Banshees will take it out before it does anything. Are you ready? Dear Swarm Host, alas, I knew ye so little, and meanwhile, another failed Ling attack, because that's what they're good at doing. And Swarm Host comes over here. Is it a drop Swarm Host play? I mean, you could make this into a drop lord. If you wanted. Cloaked Banshee stays alive. It tries to attack. Look at this. Oh. Planetary Fortress, man. Good building. I don't even know what to say anymore. Demolition. Time to end this game, my friend. You are up 67 to 28 total supply. It is 47 to 12 in army supply. You can probably kill this base. You just need something to get rid of these spore crawlers. I don't know why the Marines didn't kill the spores. I'm actually not entirely sure where they went. But they're not here. Long distance mining going to be absolutely wrecked by these Liberators and these Banshees. So many dead drones. And circle time. Trying to find a good angle to do it. Is Demolition. Can he... No. What? No, there we go. Okay, I thought Demolition had fallen asleep for a little bit there. Now setting up his defender mode circles, he's effectively trapped everything in here. This one's going to die. Bit of an overextend, but that's okay. Now everybody in here is trapped. All the drones are trapped. Trying to take down the... Oh, using a plan... Oh, a PDD to intercept these spore crawler shots, keeping the Banshees alive. Raven, nicely done there. Still a couple left, which is a bit of a problem, but that's okay. Hydras do snipe down the Raven, and the PDD dies there as well. Good attempt. Good attempt at Demolition, but you know what, buddy? You have... Did you lose all of your barracks? You lost all of your barracks, and here comes Mr. Swarmhost. My prediction about you was wrong, Mr. Swarmhost. I'm going to apologize quite profusely. But he is burrowed, and the Raven's gone, and there's no scans available. Look at that cooldown, though. It's like 40-second cooldown. Man, Swarmhosts are bad. They are a bad unit. Liberators getting taken down by the spore crawlers. Demolition not paying attention and manages to lose only one, which is fine. Is there a Raven in production here? Rude, says Demolition. There's the Raven. All right, so Raven going to pop it out here. This will die. And I think Barto, I don't know what he has left. I mean, yes, he has a Hydralisk Den. He has a couple Hydras down here. 2 Hydras, 2 Banelings. And the end of our Swarm Host is nigh. Man, Ravens take a while to build, don't they? 43 seconds, jeez. Command centers being tossed down because why not for Demolition? Might as well get up some planetary fortresses for additional base defense. The Raven sneaks on in, but unfortunately the army that is there to kill the Swarm Host is gone. They were scouting a little bit. And here's the Raven, and here are the Banshees, and there goes the Swarm Host. Pieces of the Swarm Host falling back down that ramp. Long distance mining again is Barto. I feel like this is Groundhog Day. I feel like we have seen this before for Barto. Flying around, now killing creep tumors, getting rid of Barto's vision here on Frozen Temple. A lot of shots going down everywhere. How many creep tumors are left? Structures show us there are 7. 7 left on the map, dwindling quickly. All the time. That creep is going to recede very quickly as it is the latest patch of Legacy of the Void. Hydras are here for Barto, though. Hydras are ready to go, man. Ready to take out SCVs. Ready to take out everything, but Cloaked Banshees are very good in that situation. Barto down to 23 total supply. Still refusing to make a hatchery. He's going to long distance mine out this entire base if he keeps this up. And here we come. Banshee count looking pretty darn scary. Spore Crawler count looking really scary too, though. Again, Marines would be super good in the situation. Demolition. Tanks would be good. Marauders would be good. There are a lot of good options. I'm just going to say. Banshees again laying waste to these drones. The drones retreating back to the safety of their own Spore Crawlers. But actually could sneak around this backside and take this down, and this down without really incurring too much damage. Yeah, this is what the Banshees are recognizing. They can go ahead and just spread on out. No, watch out on that flank, though. The Hydra's pretty darn scary, too. Backing on out here. Defender mode circles blanketing everything, saying, Hydras, why don't you try that one again? Why don't you try it again? Coming into these circles. The Lair's in a lot of trouble. The Hydras get melted immediately. As soon as they walk in those circles of death, they are gone. The Lair does get finally taken down by the Banshees. Oh, Barto says, Turtling's OP. Barto. All right, Barto is defeated. Demolition is victorious, and Terran gets the win today. Woo! All right, okay. Barto, let me discuss real quick. Yes, planetary fortresses are good if you throw little handfuls of lings at them from time to time. But otherwise, I mean, Caustic Spray, something you probably could learn to use in this particular situation. Getting roaches might not be a bad idea here either. Dealing with the Liberators was a bit of a problem, I do have to admit, but getting armor upgrades on your Corruptors can be pretty useful in that situation. And again, just the macro and the decision-making of Barto not that great. So I don't think it was the turtling that won the Terran player of the game. It was just more some questionable decision-making on the side of our Red Zerg player. But, whew, that's it from me. 41-minute game. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another weekly edition of Mid-Rank Madness. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.
Ascension before us. Our honor guides us. Me with you, you with me. We are as one. Justice. Our duty is unending. I feel your presence. search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala adu. The path of ascension is before us. Our honor guides us. Me with you, you with me. We are as one. I sense a soul. A soul in search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala adu. I sense a soul. A soul in search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala adu. I sense a soul. A soul in search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala adu. Kalarulas. Aramulas. Aklaranus. Naslaran. Kinalatu. Casar di Templare. Undaramanaka. Oshara Sashina.